Hi, Sarah. I've got your ad and your banner up, and I was just reading through your writing here. Let me see. Yeah, pretty basic stuff. I totally agree with you that the vibe of Arial Bold. I totally agree. It's got like a soothing kind of. It's cool. I like it. Good choice. Um, yeah, let's go to work and see what we're talking about here. So, okay, here's your banner ad, and there's that aerial bold you're talking about. Now, one thing I would highly recommend is not to put your um, location in bold because it's just drawing too much attention to itself. Now, I think we can also take this whole www out and this whole mom's timeout thing out. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. So all we have are St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. That's all we need. I mean, if people see that, they're probably going to click. So it's really smart to keep that in there. I also think it's a really smart decision to keep the logo the same presentation of the logo and the same location of a general location of the ad, that being the lower right in this particular set of cases here, set of ads here. So, okay, so have it all. I think, boy, I think that the way that this is animated is, I would have it stay in place. So instead of fading in and fading out, just have it fade in and then remain static so that by the time that this whole thing is done, it says have it all. Because right now there's not a particular point where all three words are visible. So if somebody's glancing at this, they could quite possibly look over and see all or have it. Do you know what I'm saying? Or it all. So I would say let's just go ahead and fade that in, leave it in for a second, then have the whole thing disappear, fade it in again, the whole thing. But have it so that it doesn't fade in and then fade back out. You see what I'm saying? And I think with those just little simple changes right there, I think it's going to make a wonderful difference. I want to talk about the image a little bit. Now, I really find it difficult to work with images that have the focal point dead center. And I think most designers and photographers would agree with you. That's why we find the rule of thirds to be such a valuable tool in design. Rule of thirds dictates this, Sarah, that okay, if you have this image right here and you draw 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, equal spaces, in any, and this will work in any ad. But you just draw your rule of thirds, creating 3 equal spaces vertically and both horizontally. Then where those lines intersect, those are going to be the most interesting visual point in the ad. Okay? Now, let me explain to you how this works. This is dead center. Okay? The kid is, I arguably could say, is the center of focus. I would say it's just this area right here. It's dead center in the composition, meaning it has like this kind of vortex effect that sucks your eye into it and kind of doesn't let it go. And that's why we use the rule of thirds. If we take this image right here, simply shift it over so the guy's right here, the little girl's about right there, you'll see this composition is just going to be so much more interesting. And we can say the same thing over here. Now, this is going to be a little bit more problematic, of course, because you already have the, you probably have the width maxed out here in the banner. I don't know. I don't know if you do or you don't, but that might become an issue. You don't have to change anything here, Sarah. I just want you to think about it. If you want to change it, go for it. I'll be glad to work you through it. But I just want you to be aware of the rule of thirds and why it exists, okay? The other thing I think, there's 2 other things in this ad I think are very distracting, and I think this heavy brown block in the background of the bottom of the ad, I think just draws too much weight. It's like clunk, like cement boots, you know what I mean? And then I always recommend do not put a stroke on type. It actually changes the letter forms, and it actually works in reverse of what you would think it would do. If you can't see type, don't stroke it. Think of a different way of making it visible. And I think there are a couple of obvious ways to make that more visible once you remove that black stroke and have those letters actually starting to fade into the background. There's other solutions. Okay, one more thing about the image itself. Okay, and this image is somewhat problematic, I think. Now, and you don't, like I said, you don't have to change anything. I'm just kind of giving you a little mini lecture here on layout. So the image itself would be, in this image, it would be okay. Now you got some clouds here, but this would be, and you know what I've been saying about clouds. You know, your Amethyst Bay, your client, Anybody who owns a resort is going to tell you their number one enemy is clouds. Because clouds equal rain, and rain equals drag. So you know what I'm saying, right? This is a partially cloudy day because we've got the sun visible up here, and then we've got the shadows. But nonetheless, though, we still have these clouds. Those would be a problem, I think, to any client. That is actually magnified in this image because we don't have the luxury of having that beautiful sunshine up here. So right now, basically what we have is, you got it, a cloudy day. And that's not good. Okay. Boy, I just noticed that these images are adjusted differently in your ad and in your banner. Maybe it's just the way that the banner is picking up the low res tonal distributions in the cloud. But look how much darker this cloud looks than this cloud, than these clouds. That's pretty bizarre. Wow, just noticed that right now. See that? Okay, so anyway, other than that, I think, good job. I definitely would crop this so you can use this whole background, this whole thing for the background. And, all right, good job. You're showing really good proficiency. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just think that this could be a little bit more stylistic. But you're showing outstanding proficiency. So, I mean, you're showing everything that you've needed to show. I mean, you're doing fabulous work. So good job there. All right. Any questions? Give me a holler. I'm right here. Thanks, Sarah.